Howse, holistic lifestyle coach at Shasta Wellness Studio in Invermere, British Columbia. Thanks for tuning in to my podcast. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. But welcome to my podcast, Patrick.
Thank you for having me. Firstly, I want to say this is a really cool thing. I'm an avid listener of all kind of I'm getting more and more into the podcast thing and can see its benefits. It's just entertaining while you do just mundane things, driving in the car or doing the dishes or whatever. I think it's a great thing. And once upon a time, I kind of thought it'd be great if there was a podcast in this area that was, interviewing local folks or, whoever.
Well, they're actually referring to me as Oprah. I'm the local Oprah now.
Local Oprah, Invermere Oprah. Columbia Valley Oprah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we've progressed that far, but you never can put any limits around what the world has in store for you.
Yeah, so I just wanted to congratulate you on kind of, doing something, coming up with an idea and executing it. And
Thank
15
you.
deep, that's nothing to be sneezed at, so well done.
Yeah, we are 15 episodes into Sunshine of Your Life, and thanks to my husband who's been diligently recording and editing.
Yeah, I should extend the congratulations to both of you because, it's a two. Obviously, it's a big operation you got going on. It's very impressive.
And I have to say, he's already managed to round up a few gigs from people who have noticed our podcast. He's helping other people produce podcasts as well.
Oh, nice.
So you're talking about local podcasts. There will be a few more coming out soon once everybody gets everything organized and starts getting their ball rolling as well.
Totally.
It is an interesting way to get to know somebody, especially in a unique setting if you're coming to yoga class. It's kind of, for some people, it's like more of an intimate connection sometimes as a community. So we just thought it would be a nice way to allow our listeners to get to know me a little bit better just by having conversations with people that I know and adore, like yourself.
Oh, that's very nice. Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
I've gone to a few of your drumming circles, and I'm really interested just to kind of pick your brain about your big vision for what you're offering here in the Valley.
Well, this all kind of has just happened very organically for me. Music, drumming, playing music, performing music, everything that music has to offer, I have very much partaken in for the good portion of my life. And then coming to this beautiful area and spending some time here, I kind of started a very small business by teaching music privately to students, most notably the drum kit, and then connecting with local musicians and eventually finding myself in a band that has played here in the Valley proudly for over several years, and we've played so many amazing events and things like that, and that has really helped me to get to know the community, and I guess being up on stage, people get to know me. And so anyway, after teaching drums for a while, I was teaching one person in particular who wanted to learn the African djembe, which is some of the drums that we have in front of us here. And so we were doing that one-on-one, and she said it would be great if there was some kind of program or effort made to have a group drumming kind of thing happen in the Valley. And I thought that was really interesting. So I shortly after just Googled if there's some way, because I had no idea what would be entailed to get people playing all together a single rhythm, or does it all fall apart immediately, and would it even work? So I Googled drum circle facilitation courses and things like that, and fortunately, very luckily, one of the best that the country has to offer is right in Calgary, and they're an organisation called Circles of Rhythm.
Okay.
And they have been running for many, many years and are offering drum circles for all different types of things, and they do drum circle events every Friday night in Inglewood in Calgary, and so many people come to this thing. When I went there, it was about 120 people both times I've been
For the
there.
course? Or just for the drum circle?
Just for the Friday night drum
Okay.
circle. So
Yeah.
I arrived on a Friday, and it was all introductions and hello, how are you?
120 people in a drumming circle?
It was amazing.
Wow.
So there was the group I did my training with. It was a weekend long training, and there was about 20 or so. I can't quite remember, but that was great. I was learning a lot already. But when the Friday ended and we went into this group circle with 120 people in this gorgeous town hall that is actually a circular shape,
Oh, cool.
kind of like with a dome on top, almost like tailor-made for a drumming circle, community drum circle. And my mind was blown when I heard all these drums playing together as one. People from all ages, young people, older people, everyone in between, men, women, basically just a community of people all playing together, and facilitated by these fantastic facilitators who were able to bring the energy up when it was calling for it, to bring everything down, to give people a break, and to kind of just not only play the drums for enjoyment, but also kind of take in whatever they're going through on their daily basis, and absorb that, acknowledge that, and then kind of let it out through the drums, and all these types of different techniques that I had no idea that music could kind of produce in such a mass scale.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part was, it wasn't like going to see a choir or going to see a performance, is that everyone was in the performance.
Right.
And I'd never experienced anything like that, and then my mind was just blown. And then 2 other days proceeded where I was just taking down every note that I could, and just like I was just hooked. So from there, I came back to the Valley very excited, and kind of in my mind feeling like everyone needs to experience what I experienced, and reached out to the community just on the internet and things, and just asked out there, who has anyone have any drums that they could that they want to get together and try and make this happen. But so many people reached out to me and said, I would love to, but I don't have a drum.
Right.
So this was my first hurdle to overcome. And so I tried many different things, trying to reach out to local elementary school that has a lot of drums available there, but they need to be used for school purposes. So that was a bit of a dead end there. So eventually I worked with the local arts council, the Columbia Valley Arts Council, and
good for you.
and these folks are just lovely people, really wanting to support any type of art form in the valley. And we applied for a grant with the Columbia Kootenai Cultural Alliance, which is a mouthful. And that took me quite some time to put all that together, but with the help and support of so many wonderful community members, we were successful.
Perfect.
And I should also shout out to Bruce Childs and the Windermere Valley Musicians Who Care, who donated a very significant portion to it all.
Good.
So it just, like I said at the start, it happened all very organically. Whilst there were some hurdles to, overcome, there was so much support there that just kind of kept me pushing forward. And I should shout out to my partner as well, who had to put up with all of my heartache and pain when I was having my ups and downs to make this happen. She's the reason I am here in the first place, and she's also the reason why I've begun to be as successful as I am with this type of thing that I love doing, and love sharing it with other people.
Neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I have been to a few of your guided drumming circles, and you just recently hosted one at the Radius Retreat.
Yeah, so again, with the help of the Arts Council, they every year they hold a festival called the Wings Over the Rockies Festival, which I'm sure many locals are aware of.
Yep.
And Radius Retreat, we'd been talking about perhaps doing some event there. They really want to get as many local people to come see their gorgeous property with these beautiful yurts.
Yeah.
The whole yurt thing is very in right now, and for good reason. They're very cool structures, wonderful places to go the weekend. So if you're planning a weekend anywhere, go to Radius Retreat, because it's only just down the road, but you feel like you're in your own wonderful little space. So we sold 40 tickets to that event, and it sold out.
I saw a few friends post pictures on social media, and I really had intended to go. Like I said, I'm a huge fan. So I would like to know a little bit more about, like, when you're guiding people through the drum beats, like that's one stage of connecting to that rhythm. But when you did your training, or do you have any like additional, like, because I know how you've said, you know, you can bring up how you're feeling, and so visualization, like what is your theory around that? Like usually, how do you feel like that you can guide other people to healing, or?
Well, I'm still very much working through those types of things. As I said, the people at the Circles of Rhythm were fantastic at doing that, really capturing people's, you know, focusing their attention into themselves, and really guiding people on a spiritual level, not just musically.
Yeah, and just invoking the imagination is huge, right?
Yeah, and I think so as well. And really kind of not buying into, but you know, putting yourself in a situation, feeling comfortable enough to put yourself in a situation where that, you know, your mindset is in a place to do so.
Right.
So I think that's something where I'm really working hard to get to, but I'm trying to get there like everything else organically. I think my main drive and my main thing that I want to get across to people is kind of just acceptance and feeling comfortable, and making people feel like they can be a part of this. I think drumming or anything music, if you don't have a great deal of experience doing it, can be quite daunting. And I've come across this many times, especially since starting this drum circle, is that a lot of people are told at some point in their life that they don't have any rhythm, you know, and they've just accepted that. You know, they've said, oh, well, someone told me that once upon a time, and I don't have any rhythm. But I've yet to find somebody who honestly
doesn't have it.
I think we all have it. And I know we all have rhythm.
It's the same thing with singing and dancing, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like there's a wall there that you create for yourself because you believe you can't do that.
Yeah.
So I love that you can see that you believe in people, so you empower others to kind of break through that wall or those boundaries.
Yeah, and I guess that's what I try and get across first and foremost is making people feel empowered. If they've gone out on a limb to come and try something new and you know, challenge themselves, or you know, put themselves in a vulnerable situation, I most certainly, first and foremost, want to make them feel comfortable and make them feel empowered that they can be a part of it. Not everyone is going to be a master from the very beginning, but you can at least put down a very basic rhythm and just build upon that slowly. And I think I watch literally in front of my eyes people very timid at the start of a session, drumming circle session, and then at the end just letting them have it, and just, you know, really expressing themselves through music without having to say a single word. So there's a lot of reward I get from that, like kind of changing people's mindset as to you know, what can be achieved. And the best part is when you do have several drums playing all together as one, it's a powerful experience. And when you feel a part of that, you do walk out feeling empowered and kind of jacked in energy. And that comes from, you know, whether you have zero experience and you're trying something for the first time, or you come in, you know, regularly, and you always, you know, at least from the feedback that I receive, a lot of people, you know, just come back again and again because they have that feeling of empowerment, and they are building skills along the way.
And connection. It's come up a few times in my previous conversations about the environment, like when you have a group setting, so whether it's yoga or a walking group or drumming together, that there's something that is happening on an energetic level that helps us to feel that community, that sense of community and belonging. Not saying that everybody out there is lonely and needs to be healed, but it helps people to feel better on a day-to-day basis, just to have that support of the group doing something in common. You know, that I want to say it's a therapeutic thing.
Yep.
But I see, but I can't quite explain it yet.
No, I couldn't agree with you more.
Right.
You know, when you are doing something, and something very significant also is about the circle itself. You know, whenever I try, and this is part of my training as well, and I completely agree, is that what you want to do is create the best circle possible, and then therefore everyone is in it kind of together. Like you said, there's that energy flow where there's not people on the outside or someone sitting in the corner or
Like
whatever.
you don't belong, right?
Yeah, like you
or
don't
you're not
belong,
good enough,
exactly.
or you're not accepted or appreciated.
Yeah.
Just like a common community. This is what we're doing.
Yes.
And yeah, I had talked to somebody who went down to the Pine Logs. Was it last weekend? And you were all outside.
Yeah.
They said, nope, I drove right by. There's a difference between doing it inside and doing it outside.
Right.
But yeah, I'd like to try and make.
So you had someone who was intending on participating, but because it was outside, they're like, not today. That's interesting. That's fascinating, and that's
Yeah.
good to know as well.
Well, we all have hurdles to overcome.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends actually, without mentioning any names, we do have a little bit of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So coming out into the community and doing, you're very welcoming, I have to say. Like, I've only been to a few of your circles, but it's nice to see how you interact with everybody and you make everybody feel just as, like you said, empowered, and you give us those techniques to be able to keep up and keep the rhythm. And I believe there's an emotional release too. Just breathing into whatever it is that's on your mind, or whatever, all those feelings and thoughts that brought you here today, and then you drum it out.
Mm-hmm.
And you even do a little bit of chanting too, don't you?
Yeah, I like to, feel out the room and see how people are getting into it. But I very much at the end of a drum circle, there is kind of a like you said, this energy of we are all in this together, and we're everyone's kind of especially those who are there for the first time or don't normally do it, kind of those barriers that they've got in front of themselves at the beginning I like to hope that towards the end that they've been broken away at least a little bit.
Yeah, it's lessened a little bit.
Yeah.
And you've got drums that you provide for people, so if you don't have a drum, come on out and try it for the first time, and you can provide a drum. Are you doing every Friday at the Pine Logs now, or?
No, I've stuck with every Monday.
Oh, is it Monday?
Yep, Monday night at Pine Logs,
Right.
and that's at 7:00. And basically, at this stage, I have no reason to stop doing it. It's I had a bit of a break. I went home to Australia, where I'm from, and so it was a bit of a build up to bring it back up again. But Monday night seems to work for enough people. It kind of, it competes with less things. Friday nights, there's lots going on in Invermere on a Friday night. However, I have held one on a Saturday night, and that was packed. So to do one every now and again on a night that, people are looking for a different activity than, say, going to the bar or, having a drink with friends, doing something a little bit out of the box. I should do more of those as well, but I'm wanting to continue this on through the summer. I'm curious to see what attendance would be like all year round, and then I have a full year picture of like, okay, how does it work? I know that in Calgary, where they have 120 people at this one that I went to, I've been to several actually, and it's always huge numbers, but the lowest numbers I noticed was in summer, and when speaking with them, they said, yeah, everyone goes off and does their thing.
Yeah.
But everyone from Calgary goes off and does their thing in
Here,
a place like his. So
right?
I'm very curious to see what the attendance would be like in the summertime, and I've noticed on public holidays and things like that on a Monday night, there's a lot of people visiting town, and
Right.
They want to give it a try.
Yeah, I have to say, going back to, I lost my train of thought, but we were saying, it's a fun time, try something new, maybe connect with some people. But I find that drumming in my life offers me a little bit more of a sense of the sacred.
Mm-hmm.
I find drumming to be, connecting me to the rhythm of the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and like just allowing that creativity to flow through me.
Yeah.
So for me, as well as community, I have a strong sense of like a sacred connection to drumming as well. And
I think a lot of people do, and everyone brings their own energy and their connection to what we're experiencing. I mean, I say this often in the drum circles, and I guess I'll repeat myself in the sense of saying that drumming is very sacred to everybody on the planet. It doesn't matter what culture we came from. All of our ancestors at one point, for a very long time, were using drums in our smaller communities for dozens of reasons, for coming of age ceremonies, for weddings, for storytelling, for war. The drums were used to communicate things for, thousands upon thousands of years, and really we've only lost touch of that for the last 200-300 maybe, before the iPhone, before the television, before the radio, before all these kind of other ways to connect with our community, great or small. There is a sacredness to the drums, and I think that's great that that's what you bring.
Thank you
with
for
you.
sharing that. Yeah, that's still being defined within my own, practice when I drum or when I do yoga, or go for hikes in nature. And that's what I like to promote to other people too, that spirituality can be safe to define yourself, to go into a setting like this and connect to that feeling yourself or that essence of spirituality or sacredness.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that you're doing that as well.
Yeah, I think it's an important thing, and it's such a fun thing to do as well. But I think there's something deep within our subconscious that kind of reconnects with it, and going back to that rhythm thing. I think we all kind of have it with us. We have rhythm when we speak. We have rhythm when we walk. Like, if I could get you up here, and if we were to go like march left, right, anyone could do that. Right. And that's all that rhythm is. So I think, it's in us all. And one thing that's really stuck to me when I did my training, and that I like to kind of replicate with this drum here. This is a frame drum. This is based off Native American drums, and this creates such a gorgeous bassy sound. Can I play it?
Absolutely.
I'll see if it blows the microphone. No, I'll just give it a tap, but just to kind of give those listening an idea. Kind of has that very deep and rings, and I'm feeling this huge vibration come out the other side.
Wow.
And it's I'll even give you a little one. Can you feel that?
I just feel it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably not my legs because my legs are crossed, but
no. So basically we do a little thing called the drum wash, and just going back to what I was trying to say was that for every single one of us, for the first 9 months of our life, we hear a sound just like that while we're in our mother's womb. And so that's our first kind of connection with life, and that lasts for quite some time. And I think, again, there is probably something rattling around in our subconscious that gives people a lot of comfort when they hear a tone like that, and then when they feel the vibration. And sometimes when we do that at our drum circles, people just love that. They at first I wasn't doing it when I first started the circles, then I was like, oh, I'll try something new that I learn, and then from then on out, people are disappointed if we don't do this kind of
the drum wash.
The drum wash, yes. So yeah.
Groovy.
So groovy.
So moving on with kind of your philosophy for your practice. So you're a musician, you do your drumming. Are you doing any personal development where you say you're following podcasts? Is there anybody specific that you, any gurus outside of Patrick that you...
Not really. I should be listening to more things that tap into kind of the spirituality of life and each person's connection with that. Mm-hmm. I tend to gravitate more towards kind of scientific based things. I find the world a fascinating place in general, and I tend to just really appreciate where we've come from. Mm-hmm. So obviously one of the things I mentioned was the kind of the history that humans have with the drum. Those types of things fascinate me because I want to know why is it that people are really connecting with what I'm doing and what other drum circle programs are doing all around the world. The more I dive into this world, the more I've been connected with other people who are doing a similar thing in their cities or towns or countries. And so, and I'm just always fascinated about where we've come from. Right. why we are what we are, and often we're separated ourselves mentally and physically from the natural world sometimes good, sometimes bad, but we are very much just another, in my view, an animal on this planet that over certain circumstances, leading in all different ways, have just come to have this way of communicating and developing and looking deeper into our souls and building cities and all sorts of different things. So I find that to be the most fascinating thing. So I tend to gravitate more towards those types of podcasts. However, as I was mentioning before, I feel like, when it comes to my drum circles, I think some people might want a little bit more of the spirituality side. And I don't want to. So I feel like perhaps if I was to take that route, I might feel like a bit of a phony, and that's just how I would feel trying to do things where other people can do it so much better than I can.
Right.
Particularly, in the world of yoga and things like that. That's another thing I probably should get into a little bit more. And meditation. These are types of things that I keep thinking I should do more, but I haven't got there yet. Only enough hours in the day, but...
Well, now you know where we are.
Yeah, totally.
Cute little quaint space here.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced any shamanic drumming in your journey?
No.
Yeah.
Well, explain it,
Well, with shamanic drum journeying, so like you're saying, that more, sacred connection to prior to and after. So everything is more ceremonial based. You would call in the directions. I've had a shaman drum for me.
Right,
So
yeah, okay.
that you
Yeah.
meditate, and then they can actually go and retrieve lost parts of your spirit or your soul from when you may have experienced trauma. So also they use the drum.
Yep.
But with the sacredness of the shaman's drum, like I know they would carry something similar to this, is
Yes.
what her drum looked like. And you would never let anybody else touch that drum because it is so special and sacred. So I've had minimal experience, but I was just wondering maybe if you've had any experience with...
No, not necessarily. I mean, the most healing that I have felt coming from the drum is, again, working with Circles of Rhythm in Calgary, where I was just, introduced to, and obviously a lot of practice was made on how these types of drum washing things occur. And most of the time when I'm doing the drum circle, I'm obviously presenting that experience and providing that, and I want that to be as good as it can be for those who have come to the drum circle. So really the only instance I had was when it was being done towards me. It's like a training process, and I was just able to be put in such a state that it really made me just realise how versatile drums can be. I haven't had any further experiences, and I would love to, but when you find yourself deep into this and also in our very beautiful yet quite remote part of the world, to explore other experiences comes a little less frequently than I would like, but I'm open to everything.
Yeah, maybe we should have like a bonfire and try some ayahuasca. What is it called? Ayahuasca?
Sure.
Everyone, come and see the shamans of Invermere.
Yeah. So is there somebody in town that kind of does something like that?
Yes, there is actually. There is
So
a lady in town. I can definitely connect you. And she believes in the sacredness of drumming, especially, that when you're drumming, you're calling upon spirits. She always says, so make sure when you use your drum, you're calling on all the directions for protection. And, it's every time you make that sound, you're connecting and opening up and creating a vibration that's attracting, right?
Yeah.
It's attracting spirits and...
And so what is excuse my ignorance, but a shaman, can you explain?
A shaman is...
Does it come from a specific culture?
Well...
Sounds kind of Tibetan to me, but I'm
You
talking...
can be a Tibetan teacher, like Reiki is Tibetan.
What's a shaman? Where does that derive from?
Shaman would be more Native American,
Okay,
I
yes.
would believe.
I was assuming that, but I didn't want to
Because she's done many
assume
sweat
anyway.
lodges and actually worked with Native elders and carried her feather. She carries the traditions of a few different tribes. And sorry, I can't repeat the tribe names because I don't know them off the top of my mind. I've heard her talk about them quite a bit. But it's kind of, even saying that she is a shaman she doesn't really like that term.
Okay.
It's very sacred. Like you're either a shaman,
Yes.
or you're.
Yeah.
And I think they can see. They're seers.
Mm-hmm.
They have prophetic dreams. Some of them may. Different shamans have different spiritual gifts. So there's different levels of psychic abilities that are always included in, and even people that master drumming or master yoga or master Reiki or study, with a group of people that believe a certain way. But they believe specifically, and I've read a book on it as well, that throughout our life history, we can become traumatized. And when we are impacted with situations in our life, we become fragmented because of the traumas. And this could happen like in the uterus. This can happen 5 years old and somebody scares you with a snake. I don't know.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, life is a tough place.
And then part of yourself stays there,
Yeah.
Trapped in the fear. And what the drumming can do, she can retrieve through your timeline parts of yourself that have basically, they're just trapped or lost or scared or confused, and bring that back into your essence so that you feel like a complete human being again.
Okay.
When we're traumatized, you're not quite happy and you don't feel connected, and you can feel very depressed and lonely. Your relationships might not ever work out.
Yeah.
And that could be with your job or your spouse. You could have alcohol addictions or different abuses that people use, or overconsumption of different addictions. And then when a part of you comes back, it helps you to, like when you retrieve a part of yourself that has left due to fear or trauma, I just think there's more of a feeling of wholeness.
Yeah.
I wish I could explain it more, but
No. That sounds interesting. At first thought I was gonna experience there was that the fact that what this shaman would do, or similar types of ceremonies, would be to perhaps release these traumatic experiences, or kind of allow you to let go of certain things. But what you're saying is that it actually kind of brings back that element of you that perhaps you lost during that experience to complete you.
Yeah,
that sounds fascinating.
Retrieving or calling back all parts of yourself. There's lots of literature out there. It doesn't really take a rocket scientist to really.
Yeah.
I believe you would just have to kind of connect to that how to process.
Yeah.
Intention is everything, I believe. But more than anything else, it's setting up an environment for people to come in and do that work themselves.
Yeah.
So, just being that provider of the space, and like you said, the provider of the beats, and people can do their own journeying, but there can also be somebody there who's willing to go through meditation.
Absolutely.
And help to call back those parts.
Yeah, and that's, again, that's something that I've really kind of just adopted, was the fact that just create the space and make it feel like an accepting space, and then go into at times go into what's the word I'm looking for, just kind of allow a process throughout the circle to let people kind of look inward and not so much outward, and then see what's there, and ask them, maybe to ask themselves what brought them there, what they were hoping to get out of it. Perhaps take a moment to, being a Monday, I think, set some intentions for the week, and maybe there's some things you want to achieve this week or whatever, and just kind of go to that place and see if you can conjure up any emotions that maybe you have. And we did some things around Halloween where I kind of focused more on the candy and the costumes, and more on kind of acknowledging our past, or acknowledging those who have passed in our lives and things. And I got a lot of positive feedback. We went through a bit of a thing, and people reached out to me after, saying that it really helped with them deal with their grief in certain situations. And I've had so many fantastic experiences just because I've created the space, and for people, they're holding on to something, or they have something, and drumming can be such a release, they're sometimes I don't expect it. Sometimes the people who are the most closed off at the circle, and I'm not sure if they're enjoying themselves, but I don't single them out. They are or they aren't.
Yeah.
But they're the ones, who often come back and say that was really, really awesome. Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah, and these are the types of things that are just really driving me forward.
Yeah.
And it can be applied in so many different places because, as you said, trauma can happen at any time and people can hold on to it for all their life. And so there's, I've done some programs at some of the aged care facilities here in town and, special needs types of places where, people need carers and things like that, and brought in some drums, and they're very limited in what they're able to do, but when we kind of get it all happening, the joy that they get out of just being a part of something and doing something that is so accessible. I mean, anyone can do it.
Right.
And so it doesn't matter how old, what your abilities are.
And you don't have to have trauma or problems.
You don't. People just have
to
fun.
come out and play.
We're getting pretty deep. We're getting pretty deep, but at the end of the day...
You did not prepare me for this, Pamela.
No, it's good. It's good. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun.
Perfect.
And I've been doing some things with some youth, and so many doors seem to be starting to open. The more people that are exposed to it, the more they go, this would be great for this. Can you come here? This would be great for that. Can you do it here? I've been doing some things at schools. I'd like to do more with schools because I didn't realize how much fun I would have with these kids.
Right.
Again, seeing the joy that they get. I did some things down at Invermere Elementary, and just before I came here, I got a knock at my front door with a young person handing me a whole bunch of thank you cards that all the kids had made for the thing. And I was just like, this is awesome. That's really nice.
I know. Actually, I'm pretty sure our daughter saw you. She's at Windermere.
Right.
She said, we saw the guy with the drums.
The
came
drum
to school today."
Nice.
Yeah.
So I love that, and I want to go to as many schools as I can up and down this valley and share drumming. And I want them to think that they have rhythm rather than growing up thinking that they don't.
Yeah.
So
something else that you might be open to is I get a lot of calls for private wedding parties.
Yes.
For this throughout the summer.
Yeah.
And
it can be applied anywhere.
Right. Give Patrick a call. He'll come set up, and you've got, I think, 30?
Yeah, I could probably accommodate about 40 people. That's including the drums, and we obviously have percussion instruments from all around the world. Just fun little clickers, shakers,
right.
Just so people can just feel like they're a part of it. And so yeah, 40 at this stage is kind of my maximum. A, what I can fit in my car, and B, what's just what's possible with what I have. But I'm off to a great start, and these are again, I have to acknowledge the Columbia Valley Arts Council. Without them, I wouldn't have any of them. And so we're still working in a partnership, and I hope to continue that for many years to come, because they do a great job here in the town supporting art of all kinds. And I want to make sure I give them a shout out, because without them, I'd still be just trying to save up every penny just to get one of these things. I mean, these aren't cheap.
Well, thank you from the community. I think it's a wonderful thing that you're offering, and that you put yourself out there to receive, support from. It's not easy to ask other people for help for things.
Yeah.
For most people, so thank you.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, it's great. I hope to just kind of build it more and more and more, and work with as many people as possible to kind of bring this type of program, because I think it's important. And the more I see the positive effect it's having on people, the more I'm kind of being solidified in my kind of journey, and we'll see how it goes.
Excellent. So other than your band and the Pine Logs, where you offer the weekly drumming, do you have any other big events planned yet? Or
well, again, I mean, I'm trying to get down to Golden and Kimberley as much as possible.
Okay.
I've been to both towns twice with all the drums, and they've been sold out. So I'll be planning to do it again come June for both towns, Kimberley and Golden. I've been invited to go do something at the Radium Hot Springs, these types of things just keep kind of popping up. It's just I'm beginning to find, like any endeavor or effort, the more you put in, the more hopefully you'll get out of it. But I'm trying to think of anything specific. Nothing really. I mean, if anyone wants to find out when and where my drum circles will be, if they're interested, they can go to Columbia Valley Drumming, which is the name of the community, the organisation. Columbia Valley Drumming, which is pretty of a boring name, but I just wanted to make it easy for people to find. And
I know when I opened the yoga studio, John's like, call it anything but Columbia Valley Yoga Studio.
I know, right?
Because everything is Columbia Valley.
Yeah, I want to try and build upon it. Another option I had was going back to all the things that I was saying was drumming by nature, because I think obviously it's within us all. We are surrounded in gorgeous nature, and so drumming by nature, but also drumming by nature in ourselves.
Okay.
But that's kind of like a little tagline.
Yes.
Like Columbia Valley Drumming is the name of it, and I named it so it was easy for people to find and easy for people to remember. And I guess that's why everyone names their thing Columbia Valley everything. But
it's fine. I love what it's called.
Yeah, it works.
It works for now.
Yes.
And your motto is drumming by nature.
Drumming by nature
Drumming
is
by
the kind of
nature.
tagline that I want to kind of solidify a little more. But you can look up Columbia Valley Drumming on Facebook or Instagram, and just message Columbia Valley Drumming at Gmail, and then that way you can sign up to a mailing list if you'd like, and then you're first to know when and where, if anything's going on. And I suspect a lot will be happening this summer, and I'll be even one thing I will point out is that on June 22nd of 2019, depending on when someone's watching this, I will be doing a free kind of workshop right here in Invermere in the Cenotaph by the War Memorial. We're just going to run it, working with the town here, and we're just like, bring something vibrant and fun to the community and for the visitors of this area. So
we should chat with you because we've been trying to get a hold of the town to inquire about Pothole Park and offering a free concert. Maybe we can collaborate and do free drumming and a few bands as well.
Absolutely.
Anyways, that's one of the things we're hoping to create here.
And again, this town, I mean, it's just so supportive, you know, and if you really kind of build relationships, which is easy to do in a small town, you can really make things happen if you just kind of be nice and try, just really be professional and put yourself out there and say, I think this would be great and blah, blah, blah.
But we need people.
Rather than gimme, it's more like, this is what I can offer.
Right.
And so, and that's really receptive. And I come from a large city, Melbourne, which is a wonderful city, very music filled city, famous for its kind of music endeavors and things. But, I just can't imagine having all the kind of support that I've had so far in this town, especially being from out of town.
Exactly.
And how it's been embraced. So shout out to this community, and thanks for all the help and support.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna hold you in my vision and see us all 100 to 300 people at the Pothole Park.
Pothole Park.
The Cenotaph won't fit very many people.
No, I'm just thinking something small, just kind of just have them there and just people walking by
and
cruising the street, and they can hear some drums and, obviously come over, and then I just want to be very welcoming, just to maybe teach a beat, no matter who you are, if it's kids want to run over and stuff, or certainly the adults, to try something new and get in the groove with, say 10, 15 people, we'll see. And it's just a bit of a test run to see how it goes. And if, it gets a lot of positive feedback, or if the people in the store go, what's with all the noise? We'll just, you got to try these things, right? So, and Pothole Park might be a much better thing. It's just that I was kind of, I based it on just the kind of the foot traffic of the town. Pothole Park kind of.
Pothole Park is off the beaten path a little bit.
It doesn't take much to be on the outskirts, but just that kind of willingness, and it's kind of in conjunction with the market as well. Further away from the market, but also to encourage the masses that come to the market too.
So the markets are on Saturdays.
Yes.
Starting in July.
Yeah, July 15th.
Okay.
And they're actually going to be held behind the hockey arena this year.
Okay.
So I guess I'm hoping that, you know, people will go to the market and they'll, you know, head up downtown or whatever, or maybe hear the drums from far away, so far away that I'm not annoying the market people, and so yeah, they might be curious, but I'll give it a shot. Like I said, I'm willing to give everything a shot.
Good.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, are you willing to teach me a beat today or two?
Yeah, absolutely. So I brought some drums with me. These are just a couple, and you've got one yourself.
This
which
is my
great.
drum.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's gorgeous.
Thank you.
So I thought perhaps just teaching some very simple beats, just kind of, I guess, in the spirit of sitting down and having a conversation.
Okay.
It's very much how a drum circle works as well. Everyone sits down and they have a conversation. So a very simple rhythm would be, again, I like to teach rhythms by saying something first.
Okay.
So we say hot chocolate, right?
Hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate, hot chocolate. There's kind of a rhythm, right?
Chocolate.
Hot chocolate, right? So by hitting the middle of the drum, this could be our hot. And we want to bounce our hand off just like it's on a trampoline. Beautiful. And then the drum just sings. We want to tilt our drum away from us so the air can come through. And so this is our hot. And this is our chocolate. Hot. Nice. Hot chocolate, hot chocolate. Yeah, as soon as you say it, you kind of get in that rhythm. All right. So that's one.
Okay.
And then another one could be I like to play my drum.
Right.
Okay, so I like to play my drum. I like to play my drum. So middle, 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 to play my drum. Middle, middle. Nice. Cool. So there's two, okay?
Okay.
And then a third, let's just say, so firecracker, 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 boom is another one. And there's so many different rhythms, okay? This is just three examples. So firecracker, 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 boom. So 3 firecrackers, 1 boom.
Okay.
So we just play on the edge. Firecracker, 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 boom. Firecracker, 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 boom. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to just start playing hot chocolate, right?
Okay.
And then you can join in, and then maybe I'll play some of those other rhythms over top of that.
Okay.
And then, I don't know, if you want to just kind of throw something out there,
Veer
figure
off.
it out.
Ooh, you're
I know.
putting me in the spotlight.
I know. But I'm just going to start. We'll speed it up. Nice. So yeah, I mean it can just be fun, and obviously this is just two drums. We're gonna
Right.
have, 5, 6, 7, and everyone just kind of trying something.
Yeah.
And there's really no mistakes. I know sometimes you
Beautiful.
fall out of the groove and you're like, ah,
But you keep
But
it
no one
going a lot
cares.
longer, so you,
Yeah.
you can just relax
and you can
into
build
it.
into it
you can
exactly.
build
And there's no
into it.
cameras and lights around to throw. Well, I was getting thrown off there,
Were you a little bit? You're like, ooh.
but that's okay. That's
Perfect.
totally an okay thing to do. And I think, again, creating an environment where mistakes can be happening, but really there are no mistakes. You can just tap along, have a good time, and somehow, some way, we all just fall into it. And there's a pulse that starts, and people just connect with it.
Yes. I like to pull out my drum on Wednesdays, and everybody kind of takes a turn at it. But when we have open mic, yeah, it's nice to
It's fun.
tap along to.
Totally. And yeah, again, you don't need drumsticks or, know how to play a certain instrument. It's just like everyone has hands, everyone taps along, everyone's got a steering wheel that they bang on.
And you play off of each other too, even, at open mic when we have about 5 microphones going. If you don't know the words, it's easy to watch somebody else singing and then you can get back into it, right?
Totally. It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah, so anyone out there who's curious, come give it a try. And
thank you so much for coming today and
You're
getting
welcome.
a little bit deep with me.
No, that's all right. I love getting deep.
Do you love getting deep?
I love it. Yeah, no, I think it's, again, something that I'm really working on for myself, to explore all different avenues, especially when it comes to spirituality and things. And this, this type of thing certainly lends itself to that. So the more I kind of understand other people's perspectives and dive into it, I think the better drum circle facilitator I will be.
Beautiful.
So thanks.
Thank you, Patrick.